So this is a 2014 or Generation 4 Subaru Outback, and it has this either design flaw or there's like some electrical issue or something, but the low beams go out all the time on this car, and I'm constantly needing to replace them, and it really frustrates me the way that they've designed this. So you may have heard how much of a pain it is. You can't just pop the hood on this and change the bulb. You have to come up from underneath. So to do it right, you have to take off a whole bunch of parts, but what I'm gonna do is show you the abbreviated version. So this is the front driver's side wheel well, and this plastic on the inside is held by a number of quick disconnect clips, which I'll show you in a minute. This one is already removed up here. Wow, great lighting. This is what that clip looks like when it's installed on the vehicle all the way in, and you can see this one's mangled because I've taken it on and off a million times. These are one of these things, like if you're placing an order for an oil filter or something like that and picking it up, you might want to include a couple of these because they're basically disposable items. So anyway, you stick a flathead screwdriver in here and kind of like gently pry it up from all around, and what that does is it releases this from the lock. Can't show you while I'm holding this camera, but I'll undo it here and show you what it looks like unlocked. So when it's unlocked, this can just squeeze right into the hole, and then by putting this in, it just sort of, spreads out those legs and gets it stuck in there. So there are 3 of these that we're going to remove. There's one up here, and then there are 2 underneath. One is right here, and then there's another one a little bit farther up, and those are sort of the bare minimum ones you need to get in, because what we're gonna do is really stick our arm right up in here. It's not gonna be comfortable, warning. So bearing in mind your approach angle, your arm's gonna look something like this. You're gonna have to be reaching around a bunch of crap. And if you look up by the lights, you may see a little cap, which I'll show you here in a minute. You're gonna actually really have to go by feel for this. So this is the cap that protects your headlight bulb. And so you're gonna have to unscrew that, and that's actually the hardest part of this, is unscrewing and then actually re-screwing it back on. So when you locate that with your hand, and you can identify it just by its circular nature and these ridges on here, then you just gotta try to push it along like this to unscrew that. Once that's off, you will be faced with the bulb, which has a plastic clip on it that you just pull straight off. So you'll be able to kind of tell by feel that bulb. It has a plastic connector. Pull that off, and then there's a metal clip that goes across that you need to sort of unleash from its little hook, and then you can just pull the light bulb right out. So these low beams are H7s. I've experimented with all kinds. This is just what I'm doing next. I definitely wouldn't recommend anything in particular. This is the busted one I had just pulled out. So this is what the connector looks like, where you just pull it straight off. And then when you're reseating it back in that slot, you can feel how this ridge lines up with a pocket in there. So there's really only one way to stick this in that slot. So you stick it in, take your metal clip back across it, put on your plastic connector, and then you take this thing and screw it back over the back. And it's hard to really capture that on video, but just wanted to let you all know that it is possible. The first time I did this, I was so pissed that it seemed like such a poor design. But after doing this a bunch of times, it really only takes a couple minutes per side. It's not the worst thing in the world, and just bought another Subaru, so obviously it didn't bother me enough to stop me. So my sympathies if it's your first time, but it's gonna be okay. One more tip is to wear gloves when you're installing the fresh ones, because the oils in your skin can supposedly, lead to premature breakage. That's the least of my problems, I think, in this model. You can unclip the bumper, but it really doesn't get you anything because your hand has to go behind this metal here. It's really just such a pain to align it. It's hard to find the threads to get it on, so this is really by far what takes me the longest, is threading that cap back on. But you'll get it. I don't know, it really shouldn't be this hard, but for some reason it is.